Okay, welcome to year two of the Survivor Hall of Fame. And I'm excited. This is going to be a good one. Ryan, I think, is trying to do some bid or something. He's got a candy cane in his.
No, it's the holiday season. I am enjoying a candy cane. I also
Yeah.
want to say that this was not planned, but I do incorporate Joe's color in the hoodie I brought and the hoodie that Jake has brought, which I
Yeah.
find rather humorous.
Yeah, you're a
Nice.
good middle ground right now.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, we got the lovely Jake here once again from the Tribe of Nerds podcast. And I'm excited to hear what you thought. You know, last year you missed one person did get blocked. And because of that, we are actually changing the rules a little bit, everyone. Okay, last year, if someone vetoed and said that person doesn't belong in this year's Hall of Fame, they were done. It was it. But this year, if someone does veto something, that person will then get to pick again, but they have to like move their spot to the end of the cycle. So it'll get picked up later, and you'll everyone will have at least 9 people guaranteed this year on the in the Hall of Fame. So hopefully that will allow us to also be a little more critical and harsh with each other and not feeling like, oh man, no one wants to be the Simon Cowell.
What are you talking about, Joe? You love busting balls.
I did, but even me, I felt like a man. If I say another no here, it might get pretty hard. So yeah, there's that. I will also quickly go over who is already in the Hall of Fame, so that way the audience knows, you all know. So first off, Tony Vlachos, Sandra Diaz Twine, John Cochran, Sari Fields, Parvati Shallow, Russell Hantz, Tom Westman, and Sarah Lacina. Those are
Okay.
the 8 who are not eligible here. Um, awesome. Anything else to say before we decide our turn order?
No, I think I'm
Um,
ready to get into it.
if you haven't seen our with Jake the Snake and Austin the Goat
Vote
vote.
to go. Yes.
Uh yeah.
Mhm.
So we're doing a Nuzlocke, a Soul Link where Joe and I we're partners and it's going terribly, and Jake and Austin are partners and they're going even more terribly.
Oh yeah, we just
Uh
we just ended the episode that's about to come out this week. Austin and I faced a really big setback, so yeah.
Yeah,
Tune in
yeah.
to find out.
I mean, that's
Yes.
the fun of Nuzlocks, though. If you just breeze through a Nuzlocke, like how boring is that? You got to have some pitfalls.
But if you're going through and you have massive skill, that's also impressive.
Yeah, but like not as fun to watch. I'm
Yeah.
sure the viewers much prefer when like I don't know, a Dragonite just like randomly dies because he's attached to someone.
Joe. Oh yeah, guys, watch that video because I curse out Joe like I've never cursed him out before.
I saw an evilness in Ryan that day where I was like, oh dang.
It was hilarious.
That's
Okay.
mostly why I came out was for the was for the lulz, but also how to get out that frustration.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I that was as sad as when I lost Pidgey, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay, on to the wheel. Okay, can you guys
Joe
see
and
it?
his wheels.
I love me a good wheel.
The
Okay.
chaos of the wheel.
Okay, everyone, you guys see it? It's all
There we
good.
go. Yep.
Yeah.
Now
Okay, cool. I'm gonna just shuffle it around so it goes there. Okay, the first person to get the first pick. Okay, here it goes. Oh,
I think it's Jake.
it's
oh,
Jake. It's slowly
It
going.
might be Joe.
It
it
might
might be
go to
you.
Joe.
I think it's gonna go to
Yeah, I
you.
think
Yep.
I think it's me.
Yeah, just based on the
Yeah,
yeah.
there it
It's
goes.
so long.
Okay,
There we go. Sport.
remove there. I think I was first picked last year too.
I think that's probably correct. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Nothing wrong with
shuffle
that.
shuffle again. Yeah, we're doing snake order just like last year too, so it kind of isn't the craziest thing where pick orders are. Um, and looks
I'll
like
be going last.
Ryan. Okay, and
Or not.
there you go. Yeah, it stopped.
All right.
Okay. Okay, there you go. Let me get it back over here. Okay, cool. Okay, well that means first pick here. So I'm gonna probably go with I think the biggest omission that we had from last year. I don't personally like this player. However, he is ingrained in the legacy of Survivor. He is ingrained. He's one of the most memorable, most iconic players that Survivor has ever seen. And I'm going to go with Boston Rob Mariano.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize we didn't put Boston Rob on the list.
Yeah, that's why I said there's a couple here that I'm like, man, the fact that we didn't do it, if they didn't get picked here, we should just get our Survivor ID cards like stripped away.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for Boston Rob, it's one of the ones where
Yeah.
I think when we did do the draft, we had some of like the obvious ones. We also had some of our personal faves in there as
Yeah.
well. So like there could be an argument. I know like Boston Rob specifically is a like he gets a lot of gruff for being overhyped,
Mhm.
being featured in several seasons and then playing in six of them.
Yeah.
Like which no other Survivor contestant has. Oh wait, he's played in five, appeared in
Yeah. He had a whole statue though dedicated to him on a whole
yeah,
season. So
whole statue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah, I mean like he's definitely a favorite, which don't get me wrong, when you're casting, sometimes you pick your faves and like he does bring entertainment. He's big, he's explosive. It works for him or it doesn't work for him. And I feel like it really depends. But whatever game he plays, he at least controls some of the votes for a few rounds at least.
Mhm. Yeah,
And then he
yeah.
I was just say then he loses control and then he completely flounders.
He has one play style, and if
Yeah.
it doesn't work, he's out. But if it does work, he just wins. Like he just gets the end, and no one
Yeah.
opposes him. Like,
Yeah.
but I mean, like the Rob Amber connection of All Stars is still one of the most talked about. Things in not just Survivor, but like reality TV and just like the whole media landscape. Basically, it was a huge deal.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I feel like even if you don't like him as like a person or a player, like what he's done for the game of Survivor is just way bigger than like 99% of other players that we've seen on Survivor.
Agreed. Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't
Yeah.
have any argument with him being on the Mount Rushmore or the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Nor do I. Sorry, took you a year, but like you knew you were going to be on here.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna be mad that Russell Hantz got on before him.
Well, Boston Rob also won $1 million,
That's
where
good.
That is
Russell did
true.
not. So,
That is true.
And his wife won $1 million.
Yeah, he
Like,
got 2 million, and then way
mhm.
more for all the extra fees or appearances that he got. So I mean, I know he got a lot just for winners at war, and he wasn't
yeah.
really.
Or to
Yeah.
just show up, and even outside of that, to show up on Deal or No Deal Island, to
Yeah,
be
Yeah.
a part of Trader season 3, like
Yeah.
like
yeah,
he he's doing well. He's doing well
yeah,
for
yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess are we doing male identifying contestants first?
You can pick anyone you want. So you could do male or female, and then once you repeat a gender, that's going to be your wild card.
All right. So there are a few omissions here, but I feel like we have to start with the very first winner, Richard Hatch. One of the
Yeah,
biggest reasons is he kind of set the tone for how the game should be played, and especially like whenever you play a game for the first time or when a group of people are playing a game for the first time, it's like you kind of have to decide, like how it's done. You have nothing to really base it on prior to that. So like, and it was around the time where reality comp shows, caught on. In fact, this is the show that, made it, a trend in the early 2000s. It inspired so many things. And like Richard Hatch was entertainment gold, especially back then.
Mhm.
And then like for everything that he like brought to the game as well. And he has one of the most iconic, like, like iconic moves ever at Final Three, being like, doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
No matter what, you have to bring me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which it was like that manipulation, even like, some people even copied that same moves. Like in Big Brother, Mike Boogie did the same thing in All Stars Big Brother, and
Mhm.
also happened to go and end up winning. So I feel like Richard Hatch, the only reason we haven't seen him as much is, well, he got in, like legal trouble, so that
Yeah.
obviously held him back from coming back in certain seasons. And then, like he came out a relatively older dude, and so like there's that as well. But like, everyone knows Richard Hatch, and I feel like
Yeah.
he has to be on the mount. He has to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he was going to be my wild card if it got back to me at that point, because yet again, I don't think we can go much further without putting him into the Hall of Fame. He's literally like he created the blueprint of what Survivor is, because no one else on that island knew what to do on Survivor except for Richard Hatch.
Yeah.
Like he started it, and then after that, that's when like we started getting people who actually would started watching the show and started understanding that it's a game and not just living on an island and hope you get to the end.
Again, no arguments for me. As Ryan said, I think that final three move is one of the greatest moves in Survivor history.
Yeah.
Like he knew he was guaranteed final tribal council. There's a lot of players that can't make that happen,
Yeah.
the way Hatch did. And yeah, I mean, he probably had the biggest target coming into All Stars, and like, so he had no chance there, and he knew it. But yeah, I think Richard Hatch needs to be in here. So
Nice.
No,
Okay. Well, I think we're cruising already. I think that those were two slam dunks. Those were definitely the two biggest omissions from the first, in my opinion. So Jake, I'm excited to see where you're going to from here.
okay, well, I brought him up last year. He got vetoed. Let's just put Malcolm in here. Like I
Mhm.
think Malcolm should be on this list. I think he was a notable mission from 50 because there's no representation from the 20s, which I think is ridiculous. And I think Malcolm should have been on, especially because of what happened in Game Changers. I actually just rewatched that episode for the Game Changers recap of 1 through 50, and legitimately, I think his only mistake in that game was voting out Tony right away.
Mhm.
But he didn't really have a choice in that. Um, but just like, yeah, I mean, he invented live tribals. Like that's a huge part of Survivor history now. And you have to credit that to Malcolm. And so I think that's why he should be here, honestly.
Mhm. Okay, Ryan, you go first.
you want to see what I do?
I want to hear you, and then I'll give my thoughts.
All right. I think with Malcolm, I feel like he and well, one, I think you get pretty big chops off the bat if you survive a Matt Singh situation.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know, so he has that, and then he integrated himself pretty well into the Yellow Tribe of that season. And then, despite being the beefier dude who's like like looks like he's going to be good at all these challenges and stuff, who's making it go it as far as he can, didn't have to play the idol for that. And granted, he lost the one challenge he needed to win.
yeah,
Otherwise,
Mhm.
I love Denise, but I don't know if she wins again. I think she. I don't know. That would have been the finale I would have loved to seen.
yes,
Unfortunately, like we didn't quite get there, but I feel like there is definitely a strong possibility he wins that season. Um, Despite how crazy Caramone was for him, he still managed to get a little further. Like and make big moves with it. Also, he was using the remaining popular kids to kind of like shake
yeah,
things up a little bit as well. Uh I feel with Game Changers, it just was one of those things where it was an unusual tribal council, just like there's hardly ever merged ones. like that in the game. It's like they bring that out here and there,
Hmm.
but very seldom. And so like he kind of was the collateral damage of a well-placed idol and chaos.
And
So
JT.
Yeah.
and JT. So, I think, for a second round, I'm willing to give it to him. I do enjoy Malcolm. And yes, was a big omission from Survivor 50.
Mhm.
So, Joe,
Okay. Now, obviously, I want to go second because I said no to him
Yeah,
last year. And one of the big reasons I said no to him last year is I think there's a different player who is in a very similar archetype, who I think is a more iconic player than Malcolm. But
I
guess,
think I
but
know.
guess, but guess what? He is on Survivor 50. We have a
Yeah,
house rule this season that we're not picking anyone from 50, which
yeah.
means this is the year of Malcolm Freeberg in the Survivor Hall of Fame. If you missed him, he was going to have to wait even longer until Ozzy got on. So this was
Yeah.
perfect. You found your opportunity. There was a moment
Yes.
when we were talking that I almost felt like you started to go away from even picking Malcolm this year, and I was just like,
Yeah.
okay, go, come back, come back. No, don't be afraid.
So to be honest, I was thinking of not, but then because like I had other picks on the board, but then I'm like, I'll just shoot my shot here, and then I'll save some of my other maybe different picks for after this. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. So I'm down for Malcolm coming on here.
sweet.
Nice,
all
nice.
right.
Okay, and that means Jake, it's back to you because we're doing
Oh,
steak
I have to
draft.
pick again.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's right back into you.
Okay. Well, I wanted to do something different. I've met a lot of players over the edge this year, Celebrity
Mhm,
Weekend, and one of them is a two-time player.
mhm.
She is a finalist. I'm going Danielle DiLorenzo Nath. And Danielle is a really good competitor. I don't think the edit necessarily did her justice as much as it should have. She was good at the challenges. She was pretty much in the majority both seasons. For like pretty much the whole game in both times. Like Panama, she was never in on the bottom. She had to get the Bob Dog vote to go her way. And then unfortunately, she did get placed in a situation where she loses to Sari, Terry, and Aris. But like I understand like she kind of went along with getting rid of Shane and Courtney. So I that's probably her mistake, but I still think she played a pretty solid game. And then Heroes versus Villains, I mean, she ended up being in an alliance with Russell and Parvati, and they ended up taking control of the villains' tribe. And then she gets taken out, but because Russell decides to be a bulldozer, and then she has the breakdown at Tribal that gets her Jerry to swing and vote her off. So, then she was in the majority till then. So it's a bit of a wild card pick, but I'm gonna go Danielle, and I think she's amazing in person. So
Yeah.
Uh,
How are you feeling, Ryan? Because I gotta say, I think I'm gonna say no on this one.
that's fair.
I don't even know if she would be in my top 50, let alone this will be top 18, because of how picks are going.
I think I think as Jake stated, it's just like with the edit. It's always
Yeah.
tough because it's like even if we're looking at Survivor, what currently happened this season, I forget which former players said it, but it was like island threat versus edit threat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So obviously you had to sit down with Danielle and probably like was able to pick her brain a bit more.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
a bit more of her game style. The only reason I am saying no is because I don't really know her game style as well, or like if I'm thinking of someone, her game style was like I can't like articulate it as well. Yes, she did get into the right groups. She did make it to the finals. And I feel like out of the four that she was with, I feel like she had the best shot against ours.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It was her best shot, but she lost, and so she
Yeah.
wasn't beating anybody in the final four. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And then with Heroes versus Villains, I do distinctly remember Russell kind of got a little bit turned again. He got a little bit manipulated and then turned against Danielle. But like there was she was kind of like not I don't want to say coasting, but doing a similar thing with Parvati, where it's like, all right, no one's going to
Yeah.
vote for this asshole at the end. So
Mhm.
like doing the same thing. Though I think she had the advantage of not being a winner,
Yes.
which it's like they're like, do we really want Parvati to be a two-time winner if it's those three in the end? It was
Mhm.
like, do we want Parvati to be a two-time winner?
Yeah.
Like so I feel like if that went through, it is a little more playable.
Yeah.
But with that being said, that it is more hypothetical. I will
Yeah.
say no for now, but just like Malcolm, she can come back and maybe I can be convinced more.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
wanted to give Danielle a shout out. That was kind of more the reason.
Yeah.
I have some other picks. I'll probably think of some other ones as you guys go too. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Hmm.
Yeah,
so
sounds good. Yeah, yeah. For me, I mean, yeah, it's like, I mean, listen, she was really hot. I enjoyed her on the screen, but for the legacy of Survivor, she didn't leave that like
yeah,
imprint that
that's very fair. That's
almost
very
everyone else who I think is going to get brought on here or previously have done.
yeah, yeah. I agree. All
All
right.
right.
Okay, back to you, Ryan.
All right. So keeping up with the ladies, I think I'm gonna. It's another thing where we have to bring Kelly Wentworth into the discussion
Oh,
Yeah, yep,
especially because of Jake's Tribe of Nerds podcast. You can see Joe and I review some episodes. One of the ones I recently reviewed with him um, Second Chance.
yeah,
So just watching that again, like obviously her first season didn't go well, but that was also due to negative circumstance. She kind of got tribe swap screwed. She kind of got, in a rough position where it was like her dad and they saw her as a bigger threat. And
yeah,
then yeah, so a little bit rough there. But if you look at second chances, she like she just went for it, and then you see it in like everything she does. She made like Survivor history with most canceled votes. um she kept fighting, making, like being able to scrape by even though she was on the bottom with the rest of the witches coven, and was able to make its final four. But at that point they were like, no, we can't. And then if you go to exile, not exile, um Edge of Extinction, it was one of the ones where she had a terrible pre-merge.
yeah,
Like before the tribe swap, it was just brutal for her.
yeah,
And then like even when they swapped again, it's just like it just almost felt like it was kept going. But and then, you know, makes it to the merge. And granted, she got blindsided with the idol in her pocket, but I feel also her legacy is so strong in this game that she's almost like the default like answer, of like, oh, what person do you want to play like? They want to play like Wentworth.
yeah,
But that's just because she is such a strong contestant. She just hasn't gotten her W. And
yeah.
also a huge omission from Survivor 50.
Yeah,
agreed.
I'm agreeing with you, Ryan. Like we talked about her second chance game on 1 through 50. I think that Kelly Wentworth is an amazing Survivor player. I think she's totally worthy of making this Hall of Fame because of second chance and Edge of Extinction. And Edge of Extinction, her blindside with the idol in her pocket. Like in fairness, War Dog should not have voted her out at that time, considering he just got voted right out after her.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think she's a really great player. And I mean she had like what she had people that were excited to see her like Lauren and Edge of Extinction that she immediately made a bond with, and then they like played together the whole game so till she went out. So I mean, yeah, Wentworth's great. So
yeah, I agree. She was going to be the person I picked next, actually. So, already I was, I'm all down for her being in it. Yeah, her idol play in Second Chances is, still one of the most iconic plays of all time in Survivor. And yeah, I loved her on Edge of Extinction. She was my winner pick going into that season. I thought that she had the abilities, and I mean, she lasted longer than the other returning players on that season. So,
Yeah. it is that one was like crazy because it was the first season where it was like a captain season
Mhm.
where you know, a captain didn't make it to the
Yeah,
finale or like didn't make it to
Yeah.
the final tribal council,
yeah,
which was insane. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It
to
was a
go
very
back,
anti returning player.
yes,
sometimes you get taken out because of other people's dumbass mistakes and like them
Mhm.
trying to misplay or playing too hard. And like sometimes stuff that is completely out of your hands. And like, yeah, justice was served swiftly after that.
yes, it
Mhm.
was.
Nice, nice. Okay, well, Wentworth, congratulations, class of 2025 Hall of Fame here. Uh, okay, that means now I gotta pick someone else here. And you know what? I'm gonna go with my Survivor crush. I'm going to go with Amanda Kimmel.
I was gonna say Amanda, my
Yeah,
next turn
Yeah.
for a woman. Like she deserves
yeah,
to be here. She's the first two-time finalist, right?
yeah. She's the first
Um,
person to go back-to-back seasons, making it to the end. So
yes, yes. So she absolutely deserves to be here. I have no argument because it's the Amanda Kimmel. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, even
Yeah.
Russell, who tends to talk negatively about everyone he plays with, says how good of a player and how scared he was of Amanda. So
Boston Rob in a woman's body. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, just someone who already like hates everyone, thinks everyone's dumb. He's scared of her.
Mhm.
Yeah. Another thing to kind of like bounce off the whole, first two-time finalist, she has, obviously the record of going the most consecutive days without being voted out
Yeah.
as a result of that.
Yes.
Um, Granted, there's only one other contestant that could potentially break that, but like, I don't see Michelle jumping back into the fray anytime soon. But
Yeah, I think she's in the
yeah,
challenge world now. I think she's
yeah.
happily going to keep doing that instead of Survivor.
I mean, makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Amanda, yeah, she knows who to find, she knows who to align with her right people, and then get to the end. And like obviously, it's one of those things where the only reason I'm bringing up like their losses because like you have to also justify like oh if you're bringing someone to Hall of Fame how things could have like panned out differently
Hmm.
because like you can obviously be like oh well this person got voted out because of this. Well, I feel like she was a victim of the heroes getting mollywopped in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then one of the most famous dumb moves in the history of Survivor slash reality TV, JT, here he comes again being mentioned, giving the idol to someone he's never even met.
Yeah.
All
Hmm.
right, let's put the whole thing of like heroes versus villains aside, which that should also be another red flag. Someone he's never met nor seen play, that they were like, this guy has to be on heroes versus villains. So they had to bring him, replacing Richard Hatch, from what the reports say. So, like, this guy, like, you were like, no, to do this because he wanted to make a crazy move. And then that just, like, totally derailed the entire heroes like projection in this game where they almost went sequentially but obviously uh they were able to kind of like like they were able to maneuver it and then yeah talk about Danielle, she got out as like a result and that kind of broke that chain a little bit
Hmm.
but still like no heroes in the final four.
Nope.
Hmm. Yeah. So I mean, sounds good. I just enjoy Amanda every time she's on screen. I think she's a great player. I think she gets a little underrated, especially because she gets her like ties to Parvati also, and a lot of people
Yeah.
like to give Parvati kind of a lot more of the credit.
Yeah.
But in order for Parvati to be Parvati, you need an Amanda to be Amanda. Like
Yeah.
you need people who are actually able to be on your level to succeed as well as you do.
Yeah. I also wanted to say Amanda was supposedly on 50, and then as Denise Martin on Tribe of Nerds, she came on with Shane and I, and she said that Amanda dropped out because of Ozzy's.
That's unfortunate. Way rather have Amanda than Ozzy, to be honest.
Oh,
I
100%.
agree,
Yeah.
100%.
but I also am like this would be your time to get revenge. I know y'all had a thing, but like, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was just funny to have Denise
Michelle
come
and
on.
Wendell were able to like kind of push past
Yes.
that. So
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
also this is Survivor 50. I would have been like, fuck, I don't care who the hell you had on the other side. I'd be like, if for Survivor 50, you could have all my main villains on the others on that. In fact, it could
Yeah.
be 23 of my main villains.
Yeah.
I would have to I don't know if I have that many main villains, but regardless, to be on Survivor 50, god dang hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So unfortunate, but I think we could be here talking for an hour about all the what ifs and what should have happened on Survivor 50 because every I felt like every day at a certain point, like we kept getting more info about people who were supposed to be on the season and then got cut for whatever reason. A lot of them were very baffling and being like,
Yes.
"What?" Yeah,
Yeah. 100%. So,
I needed I'm still a little bit in the camp even though this season's going on and there are some people I really enjoy on this season. That 49 should have been New Era All Stars,
yes.
and then
yeah,
Survivor 50 should have been All Stars Generations. And
yeah.
like it could include people from New Era, even if they were on 49.
Yeah, I mean, my like what I think should have happened was it should have been 48 New Era All Stars, harkening back to season 8 being the first All Stars and kind of going
That's
back
a
to that.
good, yeah.
Yeah, and because
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
I think they like to have new people every year. So instead of just having one year where they're like no one can apply for Survivor, it at least allows like a little bit of that gap for it still.
That's yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well,
All
I
right.
believe I get my last pick here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's gonna be tough. Uh, I'm between two, and I think I think I'm going to go with someone who is very familiar with someone else who has been picked so far for this year. I'm going to go with someone who won Survivor season 31, Second Chance. I'm going with Jeremy Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy dominated second chances. I mean, like he was seen as such a threat in San Juan del Sur that his own alliance had to blindside him.
Mhm.
And then second chances completely dominates. Technically played a perfect game aside from having to play the idol when Wentworth did, but he
Yeah.
negated those votes and then yeah, just won unanimously. Like he dominated that. So um and then Winners at War played a solid game as someone who I think just wasn't going to get to the end, unfortunately, because everybody knew he would just destroy them. So
Yeah, everyone just knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, Story yet again is going to beat everything if Jeremy's there, and everyone is totally down to just give Jeremy Collins $2 million. Like, there's not
yeah,
really much talking and debating about anything else at that point. Um, yeah, and in San Juan del Sur, I mean, don't forget, I mean, he was like a huge threat of that
yes,
season. Like, he was like one of the biggest like blind sides that got taken out there. Like it changed the
Well,
landscape of the game.
from both
not only just
viewers.
Yeah.
blindside, there was like pretty much when they got to the merge, it was like, you know, there are two conflicting sides here.
Yeah.
And his side just was the one that lost
Yeah.
in that one. But like Jeremy also is one of those contestants where even though he has big threat level on him all the time, he's still able to get to the merge, which is something that for a three-time player and like your worst outing is 11th place, that ain't too shabby.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's like and then for one of those being a perfect game as well in an all-star season,
Yeah,
and then the fact that he was able to, despite having a big target on his back, make it at least halfway narrative wise into the merge, and like also another tough season to even get to the merge. Now, granted, Winners at War strategy was get all the old school people out, but
yes,
you know, no, he does well for himself. Obviously, with Survivor 31. Uh, he has one of the most emotionals and one of the best like final tribal councils, you know.
Yeah.
And like also, can you just imagine also just going through a game and then having that exciting news, not being able to say it to like anyone and like holding that in for over a month?
Yeah.
Because it's different when it's like a bunch of strangers. He's like, these are people like he's played with or like he's been a part of the community for about a year at that point. It's like these are like friends that he had to hide that from as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also, I think, is a little bit like a modern Boston Rob in some aspects. Like he has a very like controlling, like he gets his group of people and he's like committed to those people. Whereas
Yeah.
I think Rob, though, he needs very much goats to get to the end and win. Whereas Jeremy can kind of get anyone and he's going to
Mhm.
have a very good chance to beating them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think unlike Boston Rob, like he can beat Tasha and Spencer, who I
Yeah.
think are solid players in their own right, and beat like demolish them. So like he deserves the credit there. And I will say to the Boston Rob comparison, I do agree, but I also think Jeremy is like willing to like lay something down to protect like his allies. I don't think Boston
yeah,
Rob is as much because he protects Fishback, for
Uh-huh.
example.
he's not as yeah, he plays the idol on Fishback to like save
Yeah.
him, get his
Yeah.
loyalty as well.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, it's also one of those things where I would say like they're two sides of the same coin. However, Jeremy, I would categorize if we were saying heroes versus villains. I think a lot of people would put him on the hero side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not just because he's a fire captain, which or a firefighter. Is he a fire captain
He's a
or
firefighter. I
firefighter?
Yeah,
don't know if he's a
yeah, I
Yeah,
captain, but
don't know if captain, but yeah. Well,
but like
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I also think just in general. I mean, we have talked about this before. That the more that Survivor's gone on, people have kind of lost some of the villainous energy that it has happened in some of the earlier seasons as well. I think even someone like Tony, who is starts as a villain, becomes much of a hero as it goes on. And I kind of think that Tony is the kind of like got compared a lot to Russell a lot in kind of like his beginning stuff, but like it's like so it slowly starts kind of going into the other way, into the hero kind of aspect in general. And I kind of think that like just gameplay wise, they have a very similar style that usually works out for Jeremy. I mean, he's made it far, but also he's willing to die on his sword and be the one to go out if the other side just ends up winning.
yeah.
But yeah, that sounds like a resounding yes though for Jeremy.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, for my next pick. Now, Joe has openly stated that he does not want a one-time player to be on the Hall of Fame.
Oh
Can I?
boy.
I always want to guess who you're gonna pick, but I won't.
No, I already I'm going to write it down on a piece of paper. Other than this, all right, this is this piece of paper. I'm going to write down the name.
I have
Who
no idea who he's
who
about to write down.
who I'm thinking I'm still gonna say no, even though I think he's a great player. So
All right. So, Joe, you get a obviously a free hint because it's a one-time player.
uh-huh.
So, who do you think it is?
I think you wrote down Todd Herzog.
Ooh.
I
Or is
can't.
it
Oh, Jam Jam. Oh,
Jam
Jam
Jam?
Jam.
that's a no. That's an instant no.
I
It's an instant no?
Instant
I
no.
I like Jam Jam, but I feel like if you would have said Todd Herzog, I might have actually considered Todd. I don't think I can consider Jam Jam.
No, no,
So
not at
Let
all.
me
Ryan.
let me at least
But
give
I'll let
my
you
Yeah,
case.
yeah.
campaign. But
So, here's why I chose Jam Jam. One, he is one of the people that had to survive one of the worst tribes, just in general, the Tika tribe, where, but his social maneuvering is what was able to get him further ahead in that game. Uh, he is also someone where he is very social and like charismatic, and it comes almost like second nature. Like he is very a genuine person. And then also when he got targeted once the merge came or mergatory, what have you, he systematically took out the people that targeted him. And he was able to use his social skill. He's very much, like someone where I think some people may underestimate how good of a player he actually is. Um, because like they're like, oh, they're always worried about like, like the people winning all the challenges and stuff like that. But Jam Jam was just so easily able to get into like the Tika 3 and help run like pretty much run it using like Carson as like a brain shield. Was able to make it to the end and also was able to give a pretty good tribal council. Was like even to one of the people that could beat him, which was Carson, was like, listen, I'm gonna help you with fire just cuz. And he was like, that's partially social game, but it's also like that was just something that came naturally. And I think that's one of the great things about Jam Jam as a player. He's able to get it done naturally. I know they're both still no, but
Yeah, I'm just gonna
at
be
least I
honest.
said my piece.
Anyone in the new era right now is gonna just get a no from me. Like I really can't give anyone this recent on the same level as Boston Rob, Richard Hatch, Kelly Wentworth, Amanda Kimmel, Malcolm, Jeremy Collins. Like he's just not on that legacy level at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would consider him for that either. I do think Jam Jam, the argument can be made. He's one of the better social players in Survivor history. But yeah, I don't think I can put him there. But I've met Jam Jam, super fun
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, great
So
So,
guy. Great guy. He was my winner pick of that season. Still now. Like
yeah.
because you thought that he was going to lose.
yeah, I thought he had no chance. And I was like 43. I had no idea because of Gabler that I chose the person who I thought was least likely to win, which was Jam Jam.
Oh my God.
it,
It did end up winning,
it
working out for
worked.
you that
It
way.
worked. It worked.
Did.
All right, I
uh,
shall take that L.
yes. Okay. Let's see. So Jake, I think it's your
Yes.
next one, and then we'll go back to Ryan, or I guess yeah, we'll go back to Ryan for his next one, or to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know. We'll figure it
yeah.
out.
Oh,
Just go
yeah.
with your next one.
Okay, well, to replace Danielle, I hope this might get on the list because I'm actually shocked she isn't. Let's go Kim Spradlin. I think Kim played
Yeah,
one of the most dominant games
Yeah.
in one world. Like nobody else stood a chance. Like Troyzan was her biggest opposition. I do like Sabrina and like Chelsea. Like maybe in other seasons they would have been like decent or good players, but just like in this season they stood no chance. And then Winners at War, Kim is the storyline. She played such a dominant game and then was like on the bottom and then she still was able to make it to what final eight in Winners at War, and then gets taken out because Nick Wilson decides to work with Tony instead of like
yeah,
making an actually good move. So like I think Kim deserves to be on this list in like this echelon of these players.
yeah. I agree.
I
She was
100% agree.
she was one of the 6 women that I had on my list, so she was definitely in consideration for me. So I'm definitely down. Yeah, Winners at War was interesting because we kind of got to see her play from the bottom. She was not as dominant as we were used to, especially
Yeah,
in that pre-merge section. But yeah, she still makes it rather far considering her position in the game. It
yeah,
just she ends up being part of the Tony kind of like steamroll also that ends
yeah,
up happening where he kind of just starts taking out people left, right, and center. But yeah, no, Kim Spradlin though, yeah, One Worlds, great game.
yeah,
Yeah, and just kind of like in the sense of like same with like Wentworth. It's like someone where people want to model their game after.
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Um, like a lot of people are like top 5 winners of all time, or like even like give this distinction. Which even though I'm a big Kim Radlin Wolf fan, I might disagree. Best female winner of all time, which I'm like, I don't know. It's hard to. I would say Parvati kind of takes that crown for
Yeah.
me. But like if we're saying like first time player, their first go around, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
But
think if you're
yeah,
looking specifically at a single game and not the legacy of like all the other returning times, yeah, Kim Spradlin has like that one game that is by far the best game played by a female.
yeah.
And a lot of people even consider it the greatest game of all time. Like they like
Yeah.
I often see like most dominant games are either Boston Rob Redemption Island or Kim Spradlin One World. It's like those are the two that everyone talks about.
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah, she's on here.
Yep.
Cool.
Awesome, awesome.
Uh,
Yeah,
I have
Ryan,
a
let's go with you with your one to try to get your last one here.
well, yes. So Joe threw down a gauntlet for a player.
Are you gonna just go through one-time players?
Oh my God.
No. We're gonna be here
Maybe,
forever.
maybe Joe, maybe. All right. So yes.
You're gonna say
So
Todd Herzog now.
I'm not going to say Todd Herzog,
Oh my
but if we're going to
gosh.
be here forever, statistically speaking, he will probably show up. But I think we need to pay respect to the first person who got swept the jury. It has to be Earl Cole. One of the reasons why I know a lot of people shit on that season, and a lot of people regard it as the worst season of Survivor, barring controversies. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like I know it like and there wasn't like it was mostly like recruits and stuff like that. And then also there were a lot of players that didn't play, and then the twist was very lopsided on, like the have nots and like have nots being steamrolled. But if you look at Earl's game, he is someone I see Joe's face already. Uh
Keep talking, keep talking.
he was someone that was able to go through the challenges. He was seen as a threat, maybe not as big of a immediate threat as like Yao Man, but he was able to align with Yao Man and also be super tight with him and able to move forward into in that game with him, and then like was able to, I wouldn't say hide around him, but like he kind of was there and was like, Yao Man is kind of the bigger threat. And even when they came to that vote, wrote down the name as well. So it's like, and then able to convince everyone on the jury for him to win. I think that's very compelling. And him being the first one to be able to do it, I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah, I'm actually considering not vetoing it because I am a big Earl Cole fan. I think his Fiji game is underrated. I think people don't talk about it enough because, as you said, Ryan, Fiji isn't well regarded. But like he literally was one throwaway vote from playing the perfect game. Like he wasn't even a target at all throughout the game. It's just that what Rito threw a vote on him for no reason. And like, yeah, I mean, he cut Yao Man right at the end and then was able to easily beat Cassandra and Dreams. And he had like the all black alliance that he was in control of. Like, that was something that was there from the beginning. So, um, I'm honestly not going to veto. I think Earl Cole is an amazing player.
And then also, I want to add one more thing to go on to the whole thing about bad season. And I'm also going to call out Joe for this. You've been on the record before saying that One World is not a great season. Yet you can acknowledge that a great player can still have a pretty dominant and convincing win at the end. So I feel like even though the season is mid and the players weren't as great, because in One World, a lot of the players weren't as great as they were on other seasons. However, Kim was able to utilize that, build off of that, and have a dominating win. Earl was able to do the same thing and do it earlier.
I'll give you this. Kim Spradling got to play Winners at War, one of the most iconic seasons of all time with some of the most iconic players, and still hold her own. Has Earl Cole done that? No.
He's been in contention to come back, but he just
Yeah,
hasn't been able to make it
yeah,
work,
exactly,
sadly.
and that's the
Yeah.
issue. And yeah, and like what Jake said, people, you ask a casual fan about who's Earl Cole, they're gonna say, I don't fucking, who the fuck is that? They're gonna be so lost. And yet again, I can name you at least 50 more players more iconic than Earl Cole.
I'm with Ryan on this one though, just because I think Earl's game is underrated. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's we'll come back to your. I can't let Earl Cole go through here. He's not there. There's better one time players even than Earl Cole.
All
Okay,
right. Just
so
giving me more screen time.
so one veto is enough to
Yeah,
knock it off the
yeah.
board. Okay.
Just like last year, it just takes one of us to say no.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. All right.
Okay, Jake. Last slot for you.
I'm probably gonna get knocked off possibly, but if we're talking about unanimous winners, this player has played twice, and I just met him. Possibly he's gonna be on for an interview. We're talking about Adam Klein, and I think Adam represents like the super duper fan, the nerdy archetype, to a T. And yeah, his game is messy both times, but Millennials versus Gen X, I actually think he doesn't get enough credit for
Mhm.
being able to recover from the mistakes he makes in that early merge. And like he's able to get people to trust him and keep him despite like almost blowing his game up. And then he ends up in like an alliance with David Wright and then basically is able to convince people to get rid of David at the end and take him. And then he argues every point that Hannah has at Final Tribal pretty well. And then Winners at War, yeah, he plays an incredibly messy game that gets him voted out, but he does have the awareness that he needs to like at least try to get this podium idol, and that is a
Mhm.
huge moment in Survivor history. And obviously what Adam does off the show with his business and helping, people get cast on shows, like I think that's really, really cool. So I got to put Adam here.
Yeah. Now this one is one where I do think I'm very biased because I've stated multiple times. First season I ever watched, Millennials vs. Gen
Yep.
X. First winner pick, Adam Klein.
Yeah.
So I do very much love Adam. I think Winners at War, he was a great character, very
Yes.
entertaining, like throughout it. Like a lot of people, like who go on and play the second season and go out somewhat in the middle or early, kind of become forgettable. But he was like the entire time he was still in the game, he was a great presence, great yeah, and the podium iconic. Like
Yes.
people still talk about it and make memes about it to this day because it's so good.
Yeah.
um I am going to give this one the pass. I'm gonna say yes to this one. I don't know what Ryan's thinking over there, but I'm gonna say yes.
So I remember meeting Adam Klein, and
Yes.
then I told him that I remember watching his season in college, and then he was like, "Wait, what do you mean?" And I was like, "Yeah, when I was out, I watched in college." And he was like, "Oh, wait, you're not in college right now?" And I'm like, "No." And it was like, "Oh, I thought you were way younger." For that alone,
For that alone, you're
he gets
saying,
a
oh,
pass.
okay, he gets a pass. I thought you were gonna say he doesn't.
Yeah.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
That, no, but no, he is a great player.
Yeah.
He's someone where back is against the wall, but he keeps going. And I think he's also I think yeah, he's a relatable guy to like us, nerd super fan.
Mhm.
So yeah, he gets up on there. I think he's one of the one of the embodiments of like that person, of like that archetype, of like big super fan, you know, nerd that's loved the game, a student of the game, goes out there and wins.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay,
Sweet.
Ryan, please, for the love of God, pick someone reasonable.
Todd Herzog.
No. God damn it.
I will let it pass because again I think Todd's a great player. Like, and again, not just because he makes pops, and I got the pop of myself over there, and Ryan, you've got pop yourself. So like
Yes.
but I don't know, like I mean, one of the greatest final tribal performances of all time, that cannot be argued. Todd literally convinced people that he should win and stole that win when he didn't not stole it, but like he literally wasn't going to win going in, and like stroked John Robert's ego, and like one
Wow!
game.
He pulled one over Jean Robin.
Yeah.
Good for him.
All right. There's more I can say. Because I know Jake and I also talked about this in depth. Um, he's someone where he's also one of the prime examples of someone that uses the vegetable shield strategy,
Oh yeah.
where it's something where so we all know the meat shield. That's probably the most one of the biggest common strategies out there. Well, what if you're someone where you're not really worried about being seen as the biggest threat, but the biggest liability? And now, granted, still came from a genuine place, wanting to like be friends with Courtney and everything. But like he went on record to say, it was like I knew I had to keep Courtney around no matter what.
Yeah.
For like because I know if she goes, I won't be gone. I don't have long in this game. But
Yeah.
also how he was able to socially traverse this game and like also help with the blind side of James, where he went
Yes.
leaving with not one but two idols in his pocket. Also, the first time anyone went home with an idol in their pocket as well. So it's like
Yes. Yeah.
he helped make Survivor history with that. So yeah, and also what he does now is pretty cool. And I guess since I'll have a time to say it on here, but like, when it comes to alcoholism, that is something that has affected, different family members of my life. And so like the fact that he had this like was able to overcome it and stuff, is something that like really, resonates with me and that I enjoy. I even got to tell him that, which was cool.
Yeah.
So Joe, are you gonna say no again?
Okay, so here's where I'm at. I think Todd Herzog is the best one-time player in Survivor. Okay, I will give you that he's definitely better than Earl Cole, better than Jam Jam. Um, the thing is though, with Hall of Fames, it's not just because you have one good outing, and that does not get you into the Hall of Fame. It requires consistency. It needs you to really keep being in the mindset to keep getting onto bigger and better seasons. And for that, I
He
can't.
would have if it wasn't for,
Yeah,
like real life issues that kind of like derailed that.
yeah,
Yeah.
coulda, woulda, shoulda. I mean, at the end of the day, he's not though. Like, like at the end of the day, he has only been on one. I think at some point he does get on there, but I think it is too early at this stage in the Hall of Fame to bring Todd Herzog.
All right.
I'm just gonna keep
Vecepia.
going.
No, no. What are we doing here?
No, I like Masapia. I think she's a bit
fine.
underrated.
She's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with Vecepia. Second round Hall of Fame.
I'm just laughing because I know Joe's gonna keep vetoing things. So.
Yeah. I hope you didn't have any plans, Joe or Jake.
God, we're gonna keep going until we get Jelensky here. It's coming.
All right,
Yeah,
Ryan, pick
so-
something that Joe will actually pass through.
I'm gonna keep getting like bringing up people until
We can't
it's
be.
like it's an unstoppable force against an immovable object. And I'm sorry, Jake, you're just kind of along for the ride, but you're having fun. We get to talk about
Yes.
Survivor.
I hate this so
So-
much. I regret this rule I've created. I wish we could just stop it. Ryan should lose. He should lose.
You should know if there's a rule, I'm gonna find a way to abuse it. You just got flicked.
Oh my
So
God.
with Vecepia,
I did this to help you, like to let you have like one or two, and then we can go on. Boy, oh boy.
all right, so she was in a
Wait, we're actually talking. I thought Vecepia was a joke.
no.
No, what? Okay.
So thing is, she came from a tribe, and then also a tribe where, especially after the swap, just kept losing as well. And then when she got to the merge, she didn't really have the numbers. but like this was one of the first seasons where they're like, wait a minute, we can actually legit turn on our alliance. And then she was able to capitalize on that, get her and Sean closer and closer to the end of the game. And then one of the things that really helped her out was her social game, getting to know people as she goes, and then was able to get the W that way. Also bringing, is it Nalil? Nale?
Nalia. Yeah.
Nalia.
Nalil, who was kind of rubbing people the wrong way, unbeknownst to her. And then, like, with the whole mint thing, which was pretty funny. But, and I think it's one of the things where she definitely should have got a call for Survivor Winners at War.
Yeah.
And then she's also someone where she made history as the first Black winner of Survivor as well. So I think that's also very important. As well as she is someone where she is one of the first, like I would say, sleeper threats to have won the game as well, because not many people were expecting, if you saw that roster, because there was a lot of big personalities there. She knew her right move was to not be the biggest personality and to like kind of like be in the like be in the know and then find chinks in that big alliance and then take them down.
Yeah, I did want to say, I mean, she pumps up Hunter Ellis, lets him be the big guy, gets him voted out. She votes out Boston Rob for like pumping him up. And then as Ryan brought up the social game, that end game, the final four and final three rounds where she wins because of her social game on the Fallen Comrades challenge, still is able to like get Kathy to make a deal with her, and then she immediately goes back on the deal with Kathy and gets Kathy voted out. Like Vecepia is a really good player. It's a shame we've never seen her play again.
Yeah, I mean, no, I like, yeah, she's fine. She
Thank
she
you for more screen time.
yeah. I think, I mean, like if you think about like the early Survivor winners that everyone talks about, Richard Hatch, Tina Weston, and Ethan Zahn. Who's the next one? Vecepia, and no one wants to bring her as part of that like early grouping of winners. They stop it at the third one usually whenever they're talking about those. So I
I,
think
I, I mean, at least she's not Brian Heidick.
Yeah.
yeah, thank
Speaking
God.
of which,
Oh
no, I
my
wouldn't.
No,
God.
I'm not. I would not give you the screen time for that one.
No, I would veto that
Yeah.
one.
No, no, no. All right. So who else we got here?
I
You
hate
did this,
this.
Joe. You fucked up, buddy.
I hate this.
Can at least be a multi-time player so we can actually see him show.
It's funny because there's still multi-time players I'd still say no to. So even
Oh,
that, there is still like a chance.
All right. Let's see here.
God, I'm sorry, Jake.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
fine.
I'm sorry that I've put you through this.
No, you're good. I got
Yeah.
two of my favorite players of all time to pass through into the Hall of Fame. I'm good.
Yeah.
All
Oh my
right.
God.
Here's another one. And this one might be a little tough for Joe to say no to. Chris Darty.
I
Ooh.
love him. I think he has a great story. Go ahead, go ahead.
So I'm going to say the story and then Jake will chime in and let's see if we can convince Joe. We're wearing him down. So what's happened in Vanuatu, they divided by gender again. And the guys ended up kind of like sucking a little bit. Um, Lost the first challenge, due to part because he wasn't able to be on the balance beam. And then he was able to survive that vote and also was like, listen, you know, we're all a little portly. We may not be the young, good looking guys here. Let's have an alliance. Let's be the Fat Five, which is an iconic name. And, it took, people that would have been, like kind of like disregarded in previous seasons. And they were like, nah, we're going to be unified. And they took out a bunch of people that legit looked the same. Two of which
Yeah.
same shared the same name. And then when they got to the merge, it was just a pagonging of the guys, but he was able to not only just win challenges to get him near to the end, but he was also able to make the alliances, find the little, like find where, there are cracks in the women's alliance and able to also, you know, help take it apart. And he's also, I would say, unique in the sense of like we don't have too many winners like him in Survivor as well. And I think another thing that kind of like broke his, like I feel like he's very relatable to, I would say, the working class like American as well, where like he's doing road work, he's stuff like that. And also he's someone where he did blindside people, he did kind of like break his word, and he even owned up to it at tribal council, where like he got called out, he was like, you did this, it was like, if you don't vote for me because of that, I get it, I totally
Yeah.
respect it, but
He
like he was even able to play up that social game
he
during that
bullshitted
one
his
and be
final
straight up.
tribal. So like it's we talked about Todd, like Chris Doherty is the other greatest final tribal probably in Survivor history. And also, Joe, don't you want to stick it to Kevin Hanna that Chris Doherty
Yeah.
made the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I know it would be hilarious. Little known fact for people: King is not my last name. My last name is Doherty. So there is definitely like that, but that is not going to sway me. Chris Doherty played a great game, great story. But in the legacy of Survivor, there are still way more people who are way more iconic than him.
Kevin's
Uh,
tapping his tiny little hands somewhere.
God,
How many people have you rejected, Joe? I need to keep track.
I don't know, but I wish I had some alcohol right now.
We good? Yep. You should have known. All right, so let's see. You rejected. Well, we're gonna even include Danielle here. Danielle, Jam Jam. Uh, let's see. You said
uh,
no to Todd. You
Todd,
said
Earl,
no to Earl.
Vesepia, and
Vestepia,
Chris.
Chris.
Yeah.
That is six people. You know who we should have for number several?
If you do, you're losing your last spot. If you throw out who I think you're saying, you will. We will.
No.
We will have be 8 people in.
Y'all thought you were in for a straightforward Hall of Fame
we,
video.
we we were doing so good on time, like we were breezing through, and now we're just in a pile of shit here, and we're just here for the ride now. Go
Talking about
go
all
ahead,
these great one-time players.
go ahead.
Just like my next person,
Give me
Mike
Bob Crowley.
Holloway.
Okay. Mike.
Ooh.
So don't worry, Bob is also on the list. Because listen, I know it's way harder for me to get a non-winner for this argument. So I might be going through a lot of one-time winners
Yeah.
here. So yeah, so the thing with Mike Holloway, uh he was pretty screwed when like first off, pre-merge did pretty well, was able to be a part of a blue collar alliance, was very likable, stuff like that. He even was trying to throw a challenge and didn't really that didn't pan out for him, but still he's someone where he thinks outside of the box. He's a relatable guy, similar to Chris Doherty. And if we're talking about fumbles, the one fumble that like completely derailed his game was trying to pull a fast one during the auction, where okay, people can get their loved one letters for $20. And then, like everyone that wanted to can get one and then still be able to vote on the advantage later on the auction. And then try to sneak by and not do it, but then he got called out and then pretty much had to fight from the bottom there. And he did that. by being a Giga Chat and winning a bunch of challenges. He even had like an idol, I believe, as well, was able to get to the end. And, there's another thing because we've had a lot of challenge beasts get to the end of Survivor. And then sometimes they're like, that's not enough. Do you think you would be here if you didn't do that? And, he was like, you know, he was able to talk his way and convince them over Mama C.
Yes.
Like over Mama C, who when I was watching that, I was like, she's gonna win this stuff. She unfortunately didn't, but Mike was able to get the jury on his side and get the W.
Yeah, I after talking about Worlds Apart with Kristen and like kind of hearing her argument for Mike and kind of rewatching it, like I think Mike went up a few spots. Like I'm not saying he's like the best winner of Survivor at all. Um, but like yeah, he never stopped trying even when he was like because there are those players as Ryan mentioned that they win immunity and then they kind of just sit there and let the game pass by them. Mike never stopped trying to do something even when he had immunity, and I think that's a big reason why he ended up winning the game as well, is that he still played the game in that way, and obviously talked his way into the win. So I'm fine letting Mike pass through. So
Ryan, can we just like compromise and say I'll let you bring Tyson, one of your favorite players of all time, in, and we just call it good, and then just we call it there. Why do we have to
Tyson
keep doing
is
this little song and dance?
because Joe, by saying that you would not get a one-time player on here, I was determined to find a one-time player to get into the Hall of Fame. Just straight up, also for the sense of like, I think there is someone, a few people that have played one time that is worthy of a Hall of
Yeah.
Fame.
I think next year we're gonna have a 3 strikes and you're out rule. I think that's what we're gonna have.
I think after this one, yes, but thankfully, and to prove a point, you didn't.
Oh my
I
fucking
will say, if there was a pass person that you want to allow to pass, you are able to do so if Jake also agreed to the person. Like obviously Jake passed on Jam Jam, so like he's out of contention. So if I will give you that freedom,
what freedom? I'm not bringing in anyone that you said so far.
I, I I was cool with anybody except Jam Jam like that.
yeah.
So
Okay, next one.
All right.
Well, okay, let me guess. Chris Underwood, because he's the first player to come back in the game and win.
Yeah. So the thing about Chris Underwood,
oh my God, no, that's an immediate pass.
He
he
won the
retroactive
challenge.
which retroactively confirmed his win in that one. Also, if we're given like how much one, he made history, two, yeah, he got voted out, but also he was on a team that just kept losing and losing and losing and losing. And then he was able to get his second chance. And he understood the assignment. He knew that he had to do everything in his power to make it to blow away everyone on the jury and justify why being voted out pre-merge and then coming into the game like like just clearly out of the blue why he won. And granted, he was able to bond with everything on Edge that gave him a bit of an advantage, but his head was always in the game. And when he got there, he also did the unthinkable, giving one of the riskiest moves you can ever do in Survivor. He gave up immunity and then he threw himself in fire, which is a whole different story because it's like, how good are you at making fire against the biggest competitor in the game? Granted, at that point, nothing left to lose because it's like, well, this is already his second shot. And if he doesn't win, I mean, Rick Devens totally does win. So he's like,
Yeah.
listen, there's no way I make it if he makes it. So to guarantee that I beat the one person that can beat me, well, there is an argument for Gavin, but like with how big of a game that he was playing, he knew he had to slay that dragon, and he
Yeah.
did. And like, granted, it still wasn't that easy because he had Gavin at the end to go up against, which he himself is someone where he played a very under the radar game, used a lot of the chaos, and didn't receive a vote throughout that. And still, Chris Underwood was able to come out on top.
Okay, Jake, what do you say?
I still think I'm gonna pass just because like for me it's just like getting voted out third, and then regardless he did everything right when he came back in, but I I kind of I can't fault the player, it's more the game itself that I have to fault with that because of the fact like I don't like that he gets put into the game at final six. Like I feel like that's way too late. And yeah, he did everything perfectly, but
Since my
yeah.
vote doesn't matter, I want to just make Ryan's head spin. I'm going to say yes. just just to annoy Ryan here.
I knew you would do some cheese like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Jake, I also offer the same thing to you.
No,
If there's
please don't.
something that you want to change your
Don't
mind
do
to,
that.
you are able to do so.
You have to hold strong, Jake.
I
No, I'm
don't
not going to fight on a hill for James Underwood or for
Chris
Chris
Underwood.
Underwood.
Yeah, yeah.
But
This he was also a weird one because this was before we were doing the podcast, Ryan, and I had actually found out that he won before watching the finale, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, I was like, "How did? Who's this guy?"
Oh my God. That's hilarious. No, but I guess keep going, Ryan.
Yeah.
all right, let me consult the list. I'm getting a little low.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. I mean, what a shocker. What a shocker. The person who I consider the best one-time player, I still said no to. It's crazy.
You can still say, hey, for a one-time player, he can be in the Hall of Fame.
Nope. Nope, not
Nope,
yet. Listen,
not yet. Oh, not yet.
not
Which
yet,
means I
as
have to
in
go.
like 3 to 4 years. Come back to me. Like that's when we can really start diving into these one-time players.
Well, we know Chris Doherty is never getting the invite back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
All
Todd
right.
will be the first one-time player. So I mean, we can keep doing this dog and bony show all we want, but like at the end of the
I,
day, we will need a real answer eventually.
These have been real answers. Now, granted, the Chris Underwood one you just gave to me, and I was
Yeah.
like, all right, yeah, sure. Might as well.
yeah.
But yes.
I mean, I
All
have
right.
a couple two-time players I can suggest, but
No,
I
no.
have some
Ryan
too.
Ryan has actual ones, and then he has a list of one-time players.
I want to see. All right. Well, actually, let's see. I'm going to see on my list of one-time players if there's a really good one that I can make an argument for here. Because you already were like, no.
Mike Gabler.
God, that's getting a
So
no.
the thing with Mike Gabler is,
The
all
most
right,
shocking win in Survivor history has got to count for something.
the most shocking win in Survivor history. All right, thank you, Joe. So for this new era, for ninth one, Gabler was someone where he had a target on his back, and Grant, he had he had an advantage where he didn't have to he couldn't be voted for basically for his first two tribal councils. And then he even tried to get gaslit over there as well. He was able to be under the radar. He also is the first Survivor contestant in history to give up his winnings and donate it to charity. Because he's like, yeah, I have enough money. He did that for veterans as well. He's someone that everyone, and I mean everyone, except like there are some people out there that genuinely, but the group consensus was like, nah, Gabler's not going to. Even when the first like a couple episodes were like there, it was like, is he? No, there's no way. Especially because they wanted him out. But no, he was able to flip that, get his target out right at the earn of the merge, win a few challenges, and yeah.
Okay, next one.
I can't let Gabler pass. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Ryan.
You're good. You're good. Like I told you, Joe, you can retroactively if there was one of the
No,
ones you
no.
want to agree to.
Give the next one. Go ahead. Keep going. How about maybe just rapid fire and then like
Yeah, maybe we should.
Damn. The thing is, there are some other people, but it's who's more stubborn. Is it Joe or me?
It's definitely me. I mean, I go all day. I can keep saying no if we want, but I feel like at a certain point the bit has gone grown stale. I think
All
it's
right.
time.
All right. One also because of Jake, I will have someone other than a first time player. I did bring some actual first time players. I was like, and had good arguments for them. However, so we're not here all night because for Jake, it is 9 p.m. And granted, that's not very late, but I'm sure he has other shit he would like to do this evening. Joe, you are only saved because of that.
Oh yeah, thank you.
You are welcome. My next contestant I'm going to bring is Denise Stapley.
Yes. Okay.
I say yes. I mean, she made it. She made it through every tribal council. That
Yeah,
deserves
yeah.
praise.
Like
She also
actually.
slayed the queen for the. I mean, well, I
Yes.
guess Sandra got voted out of Game Changers by this point, but still, she slayed the queen. So, um,
Yeah. Not only that, willingly given an idol that led to her own demise
yeah,
as well. Also, she's someone where even in one survived the mat sing, but also went into a new tribe where it been like, there is like some worlds where in other casts they would be like, she's probably cursed. We should probably get rid of her. Um, but that didn't happen. One, because of her like it's not even seeing the cracks, it's just more so like she knew that, like she could be cool, calm, collective, and that people will come to her to be a number.
Mhm.
Um, and she didn't have to overplay or do anything like that because she knew, like very genuine and was able to use her profession, of like being, a psychiatrist to be able to get through the tribe and stuff. Granted,
Mhm.
not the same kind of psychiatrist you would think, but training's still the
yeah,
same. That's just her specialty. And then to come back for an all-winter season and then to not really be in the numbers, but still make it as far as she did.
yeah,
Um, you know, it was just more so like it was the Tony show, and then Tony wanted his peeps at the end, and like she was like the one of the last few casualties of that.
Yeah. And
So
she
yeah,
she made it past the edge of extinction twist also. Like
she did.
she didn't have to go there at all. So she made it to the finale, day 36, I believe it was that she went out
yes,
there.
sixth
Um,
place. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So yeah, no, I think great player. I think people still talk about the Malcolm and Denise duo
yes,
also. Like that still gets brought up pretty regularly.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think like you look back on Matt Singh, Denise was always like the best in the best position on that tribe. I mean, she's the one who convinces Russell Swan to be like, "Oh, vote out Malcolm," like instead of me. And then obviously she's with Malcolm, so they're voting out Russell Swan. But she's the one who completely tricks Russell Swan.
Mhm.
because he could have had the idol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so she sets herself up regardless that she is going to make it through to
Yeah.
like be the last two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To ever be the person in a three-person tribe and essentially get to decide
Yes.
is definitely impressive. I mean, we saw that with Sophie B this last season going on right now. I don't know if
Yes.
that's
We
going
can
to
just say
benefit.
Sophie.
Yeah,
It's Sophie S. That is the other Sophie.
yeah. The other Sophie is Sophie S now. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I think she's a great player, impressive, and yeah, I definitely am down to put her through.
Let's put Denise through.
All right.
All
Okay.
right.
Well,
Okay.
congratulations, Joe. You beat me in an endurance competition.
Yeah, look at me.
That speaks volumes. There's
Yeah.
very few there was very few that can say that.
Yeah, I know. I could have for shits and giggles just been like, "Oh, let's go Chris Doherty or something," and then we just call it there. But no, I was not given in yet. I'm holding to my
All right.
principles. Okay. So I will now read off the class of 2025 in the Survivor Hall of Fame. We got Boston Rob. We got Richard Hatch. We got Malcolm Freeberg. We got Kelly Wentworth, Amanda Kimmel, Jeremy Collins, Kim Spradlin Wolf, Adam Klein, and Denise Stapley.
Really solid
Facts.
class.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, this would be a great tribe on Survivor. Imagine this, and then you put our first class over there, and maybe add one other person. Great season right there.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
That'd be fun to
Yeah.
watch. So
But yeah.
yeah, this was fun. This was fun as always. So thanks for having me on. Obviously, we'll see more of you guys on the channel with Pokemon or Survivor. So yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And thank you everyone for sticking through whatever that last like 45 minutes was.
That was Joe being stubborn and
We made
wanting
it.
to.
No, that was you being stubborn. That was you
That
knowing
was
full
more
well.
so you,
That was-
because someone else actually agreed with me on some of them.
yeah, Jake was being nice. I'll say Jake was being nice with some of
Jake is
those.
nice at default, but like he'll say when he has opinion and it's like no, he'll say it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Jake mostly said no to New Era, and I think we can agree New Era does not belong on a Hall of Fame yet.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see next year.
Oh
Technically
no!
speaking,
Oh
it is
no! No! I just
possible.
said that, and now he's going to only do New Era people next year.
I
Yeah.
feel like next year it's going to be pretty Survivor. I feel like we're getting at least 4 or 5 people from Survivor 50 going
I,
on this list.
I agree, but I do think a lot of those are going to be people who were pre 40 as being brought in because there's definitely at least 3 people who might have been on my list if like thinking about from that time period.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
Well,
yeah, that does it here, and we will see you all in the next one.
All right. Peace.